Wait, what? Wait, what? The scenario for this save has been updated. The game will be loaded from the nearest checkpoint. Wait, what? Bruh? What is this? Welcome back, it's Buzzy here. Last time we were on a date and the haunted house and shit. Everything went bad. I know. I think there's been an update. I haven't seen. Let's just click continue. I think this is yeah. This is where we started anyway. I stopped at a checkpoint, so makes sense. There's been an update, and that's it. Okay, fair. I was scared. I was scared I had to do it all over again. Nah, it's fine. Sometime lives give you a second chance. Damn, baby. Pretty cool. But you know what? I have to say, I think here last time, right? We were. I don't remember. Sorry. I don't remember. But we were in the amusement park, the haunted house, all that kind of stuff. Good shit. Anything. I don't know. So let's get on. All you need for it is a good night's sleep. The events of the past had already faded and no longer brought me as much pain. The storm had passed and I was standing on the deck watching it go. My existential skiff had somehow avoided being crushed, and it was all over now. But I had almost slipped up. Maybe the only thing Himitsu wouldn't have tolerated was self-pity. Oh yeah, if I didn't say it was Himitsu we were on a date with, right? Even if it manifested like this. Sunday morning started, peacefully, as usual, as it's probably the only day when all, or almost all, Japanese people rest. It's a time to be with your family and deal with housework. I remember it was Himitsu's big cleanup day. Did that mean I wouldn't see her? I think it is. It does. Or maybe we can go help that bish. Gus, he'll probably be happy about that. But I don't know. On the one hand, that was a good thing. We both needed to cool down. But I did feel bored. For the first time in a long while, I had a quiet day. And what did I do? Grumble at the thought that my life might finally return to its normal course. Oh no, how sad. I feel so bad for you. The breakfast seemed insipid and somehow wrong. After a couple of minutes, I couldn't even remember what I'd been eating. TV didn't entertain me with the contents of its box. I hadn't bought any new games for a while, was bored with the old ones, and printed letters danced circled in front of my eyes. Now, isn't this something? Just a week ago, I would spend the entire weekend bumming around. Maybe it wasn't about being bored after all. Yesterday's evening with Himitsu distracted me from thoughts about Catherine, but so nothing had really changed. Maybe I wasn't as sensitive about her being less than 1,000 miles away from me anymore, but I couldn't solve the problem by ignoring it. A phone call interrupted the disorder of my thoughts. Nice. Who was it? I forced myself to answer it. Hello. Awake so early? Weird. Why did she call me? Why? It took me too long, really, to recognize the voice. I definitely hadn't expected to hear her. I still remember my phone number? I have it written down. Oh yeah, of course. What was I hoping for? What do you want? Aren't you rude today? Woke up on the wrong side of the bed? I distinctly imagined her smirk. Rude? You bet. After what happened yesterday? When she just ditched me at the bar? You mean the note? What else could I mean? You know, I even believed it for a second. I even came. She didn't answer immediately. So did I. Yeah, but you weren't there at 8, and the bartender told me that you had left 3 hours before. That's correct. Suddenly, Catherine's voice grew firm. You didn't expect me to sit there for 3 hours, did you? It was just another trick of yours. No, I was just waiting in a different place, outside, but you didn't come. I did. Not at 8. Yeah, maybe I was a couple minutes late, so what? I think you had enough time. Except that I had spent that day with Himitsu in the amusement park and therefore hadn't found the note on time. But that was no reason for Catherine to know that. I came as soon as I could.
What do you want from me then?
I don't want anything. You're the one who called.
You're right about that.
She smirked. How do you know she smirked? It's on the phone. He was like,
I'm smirking right now.
that's how she was. Yeah, I bet. I bet that was how she was.
I guess I shouldn't have, judging by your reaction.
Katja, I'm a human being too.
No one doubts that. You know, maybe I'm in the wrong here. All these notes and secrets, it's not my style.
I figured.
What do you mean?
Nothing really. Just a couple of days ago, I seriously considered Catherine to be the person who had left the note at my door. As it turned out, she signed hers.
You still want to talk?
I couldn't see her face, but wasn't sure I would have been able to read her emotions even if she'd been right in front of me. I'd like to talk, but our conversations can hardly be called a dialogue of late.
I see you in the city center in 2 hours.
Okay.
And don't be late this time.
Catherine almost commanded me and hung the phone. I bet I won't. I said into the silent and went to my room to dress up. Okay, then we actually got something to do, I guess. I didn't fancy the idea of coming to the meeting early and spending however long wandering there alone. I was just sitting at the doorstep looking at Himitsu's house. Today was their big cleanup day, right? For me too, perhaps. A big mental cleanup day. I could open the windows and air out the smell of dead feelings, throw away my musty fucks, scrub the rust off the wrinkles of my brain and polish my skull. A visit to a psychologist is a common occurrence in American movies. It isn't as widespread in Japan, and I'm not sure whether psychologists even exist in the USSR. I could probably use one. Himitsu's father's car approached the house. I gave him a nod of greeting, and he responded likewise. I wondered, would I already have a bullet in my head if Himitsu had told him everything that had happened between the two of us lately? Or would a for sale sign appear in the front of the house? Her father, Ryonosuke-san, was too Japanese. I didn't remember her mother well, but she had seemed more friendly. No wonder they ended up divorcing. It was still an hour before the meeting with Catherine. If I walked slowly, I'd be right on time. Sometimes I thought that normal Japanese people only had 2 sets of clothes, a business suit and casual fit. Oh wait, only worn on the weekends. And for their casual look, everyone went nuts. I wasn't really obsessed with fashion, but still tried not to stand out in a bad way. Although in Tokyo, a tall European guy always stands out, no matter how he's dressed. A man had approached me on the street once and gave me the business card of a modeling agency. After that, I spent an entire evening looking at myself in the mirror and trying to figure out in what way I resembled a model. The clock in the window of the shop across the street told it was the time we agreed to meet at. Tick-tack, tick-tack. I'd almost had enough of this. Catherine was just about half an hour late, and she decided to dump me again. Japanese people usually agree to meet at all the same places, near stations, at fountains, on squares, and at monuments. Why this shop then? Because this was the place where we had our first kiss. Just like that, on a busy street in the afternoon without shame in front of everyone. Maybe it wasn't the most romantic place, but I couldn't wait anymore, and she didn't seem to mind. But it all happened so long ago, as if in a previous life. And now I am standing here losing the last remnants of my self-respect, waiting for who knows what.
Sorry.
I turned around to see Catherine standing in front of me. Okay, I'm kinda annoyed now, alright? See.
Oh no, you were 3 minutes late, so I left. Oh no, I'm a little... Oh, wow. But when I'm half an hour late, I'm just... Sorry.
Okay. It was strange that she appeared from that side. Why'd you come from there? I waved my hand in the direction where her house used to be.
I don't need to take the subway anymore. Miscalculated the time a little.
Still a logic. Yeah, sure. The ones who come late to school always live the closest. A little? I've already stopped waiting for you.
And what are you doing here?
He smiled. Quite generally, as it seemed. Must be a habit too. Alright, let's walk. I can see the owner of that shop giving me suspicious looks. Of course Katja knew what shop it was. When she decided on the meeting point, But my words still made her blush and quickly lower her head. Ah. For a while, we walked in silence. To be honest, I don't even know what to start.
Let's just not start this all over again for the 100th times, alright? I think we already figured out who returned to where and why.
Okay, we have. I mumbled limply. I really didn't have the strength to go over this again. Honestly, I just have no idea what else we should talk about.
Let's enjoy the silence then.
Do you need company for that?
Well, we could also chat. My Japanese is a little rusty.
You really need it though. In a year you'll be studying in college in the States.
Who knows?
He replied wistfully. There's no way you want to stay here.
And you?
Do I have a choice?
There's always a choice, but most people simply doesn't see it.
That's easy to say in your position.
It is.
One thing I always liked about Katja was her sincerity. Not honesty? No, she kept a lot to herself, even hid things, but she was never overly polite and refused to adjust herself to others. She would disagree with or even offend older people if they were wrong, never idolized anyone remotely successful, as was common here. He always had that inner strength, and to be honest, I often felt a little intimidated around her, knowing she was a stronger person than I am. That had been the case back then. Now she appeared to just be an arrogant, petulant, bad-mannered girl who toyed with me, fully aware of my feelings. No.
So what's your plans for the future? Same as before?
Exactly the same as before. Nothing.
What would Himitsu say about that?
She looked really shocked. Do you care? Somehow it seemed to me that she did. Suddenly, Catherine stopped and looked at me intently.
Do you still not know anything?
Know what? I felt uneasy as if I was missing some vital detail.
I don't want people to think I'm at fault here, that I'm interfering with your life or relationships. The thought alone makes me feel gross, like I care.
Okay. This sort of thing was typical for Catherine. She was always overly obsessed with how she appeared to other people.
Just imagining it.
Catherine clenched her teeth angrily. Nobody's accusing you of anything. Just put yourself in my shoes. It seems to be too much of a coincidence.
Coincidence is a good way to put it. There's nothing more to it than that.
Had just seemed outwardly calm while saying that. I was sure that in reality she was more agitated than the day before. We can forget all this and move on. Ah, nice little drink. I said unexpectedly, even to myself, and stopped.
Forget?
She asked, startled.
Well, yes, it's the best option.
Nobody's at fault.
Yes, things just happened.
Things happened, and in the end, it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was the fastest and most ridiculous ending to any war in history. We achieved peace by destroying the population of both countries. Yes, that's mutually assured destruction. I love it. That's why you decided to meet here, right? Catherine didn't reply, didn't even give me a look. All you said was in the city center, and I came here.
Because this is the most convenient spot, not too far from my place or from yours.
Well, it was definitely just a coincidence. Nothing more than that.
Here you go again.
He let out a sigh. Just getting a little nostalgic, I beg your pardon.
I'm not going to shame you for that.
Just blushing. Blushing? Blushing? I'm blushing. Blush. Catherine pretended to look at something on the other side of the street to hide her embarrassment. That's something.
You can't shame a person for their memories.
It's a bad idea to point fingers to begin with. You have to start with yourself.
Is that a statement or advice?
Both, I guess. She paid zero attention to the obvious ambiguity of my words. Remember when you ditched the class because you had a fight with our English teacher?
Yeah, he was wrong and I pointed out his mistake.
In Japan, being older is more important than being right. Catherine laughed quietly.
And then you followed me.
Of course I did. The class was boring anyway, and I wanted to get to know you better.
I guess you're not happy. You know me now.
Wait.
I guess you're not happy you know me now.
Oh, okay. That wasn't any, comma or anything. A coma. No.
Mitsu isn't, for sure.
My entire life doesn't revolve around her, you know? Well, maybe it did now.
Don't take that as an accusation. Quite the opposite.
What about you? Is there a Dutching cowboy waiting for you in the US? This joke fell flat and she didn't respond right away.
No,
Sorry, it's none of my business.
I wasn't looking for one.
I told you it's none of my business.
You're not interested.
Oh, fuck! I keep doing this.
You're not interested at all?
Katja finally stopped and gave me a curious look. I don't know how to respond to that.
Relax. It was a joke.
You and your jokes.
By the way, do you want to drop by?
Catherine pointed at a building entrance next to us. Do you live here now? What was this?
It's more convenient than before, isn't it?
Yeah, closer to a school. Wouldn't your mother mind me coming in?
He's at work.
Ah, is that so?
I have a feeling you're misinterpreting the situation.
I can't imagine how else I would interpret it.
Okay, once again, I just don't want to be considered. I'm just being polite. It's a Japanese hospitality.
Yeah, you and I are very Japanese. What the fuck, I keep doing this shit. Catherine smiled slightly, which somewhat calmed me down. Maybe it was time to stop pretending she was Hitler. Stop pretending she was... Okay. She must have felt somewhat guilty as well. Alright, let's go. Catherine lived in a pretty large apartment. Place that spacious in the middle of Tokyo could only be afforded by very, very wealthy people. Oh, high-ranking diplomats. Not that the Winters family had much to complain about, even in the past. They used to live in a decent multi-family housing block, although not in the most prestigious of districts. Did that mean that her mother had been promoted?
Sit down already.
Catherine said, clearly displeased by me studying her guest room for far too long. Everything looks so European.
Do you find it weird?
Not really.
You want some coffee? Tea?
I still couldn't figure out why Catherine had invited me in the first place. No, thank you.
Stop acting like you're being interrogated.
She smiled. Okay, I guess. Would make a good policewoman.
Noted. Thanks.
So what did you want to talk about?
We should have talked right away. I guess you're right about that.
I remained silent, afraid to interrupt when she was speaking so candidly.
Besides, I don't want you to think I did something wrong. I don't want someone else, anyone to think that. Because I didn't.
She gave me a furious look, as if I was objecting.
Yusuke must have already told everyone at school.
Come on, he wouldn't. Of course he did. But then, why would she transfer to our school at all? I couldn't ask that question right now, as much as I wanted to.
You're a terrible liar.
It didn't feel like the first time someone told me as much.
Terrible because you usually have nothing to lie about.
Because nothing happens in my life.
Isn't that true?
You want to teach me, Katja stood at the side of the room, looking out at the window with a sad expression, her arms folded over her chest. I'm not rushing you, just...
Put yourself in my shoes.
I can't. Not because I don't want to. I simply can't. I just don't know your situation. She smiled slightly and shifted her gaze to me. You think I'm such a bitch, don't you? I don't. Sometimes I just, very often, I don't really understand you.
Neither do I. I don't know what'll happen next. You think I have it easy? But you're responsible for your own life. Nobody can take you halfway around the world like a piece of luggage just because that's the job.
I know you don't like it here.
Don't like it?
Catherine smirked bitterly.
I have maybe one good memory of this country. What is it?
Suddenly her expression changed. Ah, that's me. That's Nikolai.
Maybe you'd still like some tea.
Well, alright. Refusing twice would have just been impolite. Okay, isn't it? I don't know. I guess not. I don't know. I don't work here. I really don't work here. No, okay. Katya quickly walked to the kitchen, leaving me alone in the living room. What was she talking about? It seemed I was beginning to understand why she had invited me here, but was too afraid to admit it even to her. Myself, I mean. Wow. So, as to not be even more disappointed afterward, she would come back with hot tea in hand, cold and arrogant once again, and I would only be able to think about how the two of us were about to make up. Maybe she simply didn't know what she wanted. I stood up and walked around the room. It was spotless, though not really that big. A phone hung on the wall, and a small piece of paper with a telephone number was stuck to it, next to it. I guess she hadn't memorized this number yet. I quickly grabbed the pen from the table and wrote the number on my hand. Catherine kept the place tidy, only a few notebooks carelessly scattered on the table standing out in the general picture. I picked up on one of them and flipped through it. Modern Japanese language. For a hard-working student with far-reaching plans to enroll in a prestigious college, she made too many mistakes. Although I doubted she would need Japanese in the US, I looked more carefully. The way she wrote some kanji looked familiar to me. Was Katya's handwriting similar to Kyosuke's? No, not really. It was too even. I started to turn over the pages feverishly, looking for a certain word. You, grave, people. Kanji and hiragana on the pages before me started to form into sentences. Nikolai-san, be careful. You are in grave danger. Certain very powerful people linked to your father are after you. This is not a prank or a hoax. No doubt about it. That note was written in the same handwriting. On the note's cover, in the same neat manner, was written Catherine Winters. But how? Why? I started feverishly flipping through other notebooks. It was all the same. But back then, during the break, I was sure the handwriting was different. I heard steps coming from the kitchen and got scared out of my mind.
Sorry it took so long. I don't usually drink tea, and you aren't a big fan of coffee.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you?
Catherine asked, startled. Apparently, I looked weird, putting it mildly. Okay, so I guess Catherine left us that weird note. Kinda scared shit, but okay, I guess. I can live with that, I guess. Nothing. Good thing I managed to put the notebook back. Yay! That way, they had been. I can't read.
Are you sure? You look like you just seen a ghost.
She smiled and put the cup on the table. I couldn't force myself to pick it up as I could feel my hands shaking. Suddenly I felt terrified of being in the same room with this girl. I was absolutely sure that the note wasn't a prank or a hoax. It would have been completely out of character for Catherine. If she had decided to write something like this, it was serious, whether it was a threat or warning.
Nikolai?
Yeah, sorry, I just remembered. I've got some stuff to do. Katya looked at me carefully, but didn't say a word. Very urgent stuff, I need to. Even under other circumstances, I would hardly been able to come up with something urgent to do, especially something I somehow forgot about. Catherine would never believe me, like she didn't believe now.
You don't feel comfortable being here?
She asked in a detached voice. No, don't say that, I just...
Right, when I finally decided to talk to you. Off you go.
Katya finished coldly, nodding towards the exit. Yeah, thank you. I mean, bye. See you at school tomorrow. It took considerable effort not to break into a run. Why was that? She was warned. I think she would talk about one of those things. It wasn't really what I was expecting her to talk about. Maybe making up and shit like that. Yeah, that's true. But I think there, if we had stayed, she might have been going.
Oh yeah, this guy is after you and want to kill you because you're bad.
I don't know. When I left the building, I realized that it was hard to breathe. Uh-oh, she poisoned me. My heart was pounding furiously, and it took some time to come to my senses. I wondered if she was watching me out of the window. Luckily, I was standing under a canopy. But I was standing for way too long. Suspiciously long. Trying to keep a steady pace, I walked away from Catherine's house. I felt better among other people away from her. Why did I react like this? Yeah, I didn't want to think that Catherine would make fun of me this way, but she changed so much in over a year and a half. And if she really wanted to warn me about something, the note mentioned my father's work. I doubted Katja had anything to do with it. But her mother... Wait, her mother? Maybe the notebook was her mother's and not Katja's, since he didn't think Katja's handwriting was the same. But no, Katja... but Katja signed off on it. I don't know. This is weird. I slowly walked away from the ever-busy center of Tokyo, and soon skyscrapers gave way to small houses huddled together. It was quiet here, as always, and more importantly, it was serene. Catherine wouldn't have liked it. Maybe she just wanted to take revenge on me. But why would she invite me to her apartment and try to explain something? I still couldn't fully believe she was the one to write that note. And what about the call? The voice had been clearly male. Even if I assumed that it was all Katja's idea. What? Was she an evil genius with a gang of henchmen at hand? Of course, everything could be much simpler. I could be simply overthinking it and making absurd assumptions. Wow, I can't even speak. But then, why had my life been going its normal course until just a week ago? And now everything was going down the road to hell. Still, this day would soon end and a new one would begin. The few people on the streets walked with smiles on their faces. Sunday was possibly their only day off in the entire week, so why would they be happy about going to work tomorrow? If I were to rethink the flow of Japanese life from Catherine's perspective, everything would seem much more depressing than I usually saw it. But was that really enough to treat me like she had? I only reached home an hour and a half later. It was stupid to think that Himitsu was waiting for me. Inside there was only silence, even more deafening in the contrast with the outside where the evening birds sang their songs. I walked to the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and froze in something akin to delirium. What next? What was I supposed to do? How was I supposed to live? The note. I stormed to my room and took the note out of the drawer. Yes, the handwriting was definitely the same. There was no doubt that that note had been written by Catherine. I didn't even care for the why of it anymore. The only thing I wanted to know was, why me? Why was she doing this to me? Why did she keep doing this to me? But I still couldn't shake off the thought of her conversation in her apartment today. She just didn't resemble a sadist or a spy. What if her handwriting was faked? But what for? I continued coming up with theories, all based on my extraordinary importance. Maybe, mostly because otherwise it meant Katja was doing all of this out of resentment towards me, maybe seeking revenge. I didn't want to believe that. I simply couldn't force myself to. The ringing of the phone sounded peaceful, casual, but I flinched out of habit. It wasn't even evening yet. It seemed a bit early for assassin spies or any other dissidents. Hello. My voice sounded unnatural even to myself. Hey, are you alright? Why would Michael need me now? Never better. Well, if you say so. He continued after a short pause. It wasn't in his character to pry. So you didn't forget anything? No, what am I supposed to have forgotten? We were planning to go to the cinema. We were? I really didn't remember anything like that. Maybe we actually did. Most likely at school. He asked and I agreed without even realizing what he was talking about. These days, I only thought of one thing. Yeah, right, let's go another time. I have a headache and tomorrow we have classes, so... I didn't even want to come up with a believable excuse in a situation like this. Michael would be as tactful as possible no matter what. Alright, see you tomorrow then. So long. I hung up and stared at the front door. I could have asked her what was going on. I was pretty sure Katja would have killed me there and then. Suddenly I felt that I was missing something, a tiny detail, a trifle that was necessary to put this puzzle together. Was it all just a dream? At the time, 1.5 years ago, I often imagined that nothing had changed. I'd wake up the next day and everything would be the way it used to. Catherine hadn't gone anywhere. We were together and loved each other. And everything that had happened in reality was just another nightmare. It turned out that my nightmare went on to become more horrifying with every minute. Not waking up at all would have been the better option. I could have tried to find consolation with Himitsu, but after yesterday, and then suddenly, I felt better. If only someone could see me now. What a pathetic sight. Yeah, I've always been prone to agonizing over my fudge, but it never sunk to the point of self-pity to this disgusting feeling that manifests when you think that the entire world is to blame and everyone is against you. A car stopped at Himitsu's house. Her father was back. Hadn't this already happened today? Recurring events. There had been too many of them the past year and a half. The same day every day, the same day every month. The same day year to year. And in the end, a noose hanging from the ceiling of a 6 tatami room. Although I wasn't sure if I even managed to properly hang myself, tall as I was. If things continued on the same course, even Himitsu would have had enough and leave me. The life itself was pulling me out of this putrid swamp by my hair and pushing forward along the yellow brick road with my companions, the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, perhaps Toto as well. I wondered if they would like the comparison. But in order to move forward, you have to make decisions. For example, talk to Catherine about the note. But not today. Today I was too tired. So am I going to... No, I'm not. Okay. Sunday night was descending upon Tokyo, a night that provided the chance to get the final bit of fun before Monday. The craziest and most desperate fun. Bro, why didn't you just go to the cinema with Michael? He seems like such a cool and nice dude, bro. He doesn't seem like he's just at all trying to be a dick or anything. He's just trying to be a friend, a homie, a true gangster. Or maybe not gangster, but you know what I mean. So half an hour later, I stood at the doors of the familiar bar. Oh, who's that? Who's that? Secret agent. Look at those gloves. Oh no. Or maybe it's because it's October, wasn't it? Wasn't it October? Can I see that if I go in here? No, I can't. It's just when I last played it. So, it's a week ago? That makes sense why I don't remember as much then. But it's good. Inside it was loud, filled with smoke and reeking of booze. Oh yeah, when I was in Japan, that's a thing. Back in 2017. That's 5 years ago. Holy shit, I'm old. It was pretty normal still to smoke indoors. Like, you see they have this ventilation system up here kind of thing. I think, isn't that one of them? I think it was. It kind of looks like it. So, out of politeness and courtesy, I guess, you just, when you smoked, you blew the smoke up there. I don't know if they did it back then, because back then we also fucking did it here in Denmark. You could also just be smoking indoor and not caring. But now they was like blowing the smoke up here, and like in Burger King, there was a Burger King where the downstairs room smoke free, and then upstairs room smoked. So the smoke didn't go down to the smoke free customers. That's kind of weird. Kind of weird to experience. Inside it was loud, filled with smoke and reeking of booze. It's normal for the Japanese to have a drink or two after work, even hanging out with friends or on a date. It was considered acceptable, sometimes even obligatory. What kind of corporate event would it be without eating and drinking? The only problem was that most of them had little to no tolerance for alcohol. 2 or 3 beers were usually enough to take them out. Call a taxi or carry them home on your back. Oh my god. Wow, Japanese people can't drink. Wow. I'm not sure about that, but okay, let's just say that. That's why I didn't like drinking with the Japanese. No matter what, in an hour's time, you were left alone. I mean, when I was drinking with the Japanese... Was I drinking with the Japanese? No, actually not. I was in bars. Wait, was I? I don't remember. I was drinking. No, I wasn't. I wasn't drinking with the Japanese. So yeah. I actually don't know. At that point, you were just wasting booze. Yeah, with the Japanese, I just went all kinds of other places. We didn't drink beer, booze actually. Oi, Goyle! Bartender's greeting reached me through the noises of the crowd. He peeked over the heads of the people at the counter. Why had I chosen this bar and come here so often? I couldn't say it was close to my house, and the bar sort of resembled a Soviet Lyumachunovo. And definitely not because of the bartender. Hey there, what can I get you? I'll go for a whiskey, double whiskey. Whoa, something happened? Yeah, life happened. Is it that bad? Worse than usual. I'd love to hear about it, but work is aplenty as you can see. He smiled apologetically, poured me a glass, and was about to take the bottle away, then I stopped him by carefully grabbing his arm. Leave it be. I'm partying tonight. Kolya, do you know how much this whiskey costs? I don't, and I don't care. You have nothing over 5,000 yen anyway. True enough. True, my friend. Nothing over 5,000 yen. You can easily afford this. You have 5,000 yen, right? Bartender guffawed and raced to the other end of the bar to greet a just arrived middle-aged man with reddish cheeks. Without the bartender around, there was little sense sitting at the counter, so I moved to a free table. A waitress approached me right away. They could be found here on the weekends, but I coldly told her that I wasn't hungry and didn't let her slip me a menu. Watching the drinking layman was kind of an entertainment too. They didn't really care about being overheard by others, many shouting as loudly as they could. Visiting any bar in Tokyo on Sunday evening, you might learn that sales manager Iboshi secretly hates his boss, that secretary Minomi-chan cheats on her husband, and big boss Toki-san fears so much for his children's future that he can't sleep properly. Fucking Minomi-san. What dumb bitch. Fucking shit, man. The next day, they'd all go to work in a good mood, even if they couldn't manage to recall what they'd done or said the night before. I looked at the full bottle of whiskey, and as for me... Wait, there's a girl? What voice should I give her? How the fuck does she have yellow eyes? I see the blonde hair, but yellow eyes? What the shit is that? Let me speak. Voice to her. Looks kind of like a businessy. That Minomi-chan. Let me see.
Is this seat taken?
I don't know, this voice is dumb. A young woman in a strip. Wait, wasn't that Ellie's voice?
Is this seat taken?
Okay, I'll give her that one. That's weird, but I do it. A young woman in a strict red business suit was standing in front of me. A European? Weird. How the fuck do I meet all the Europeans? I looked around the pub and realized that there were no other free seats. No?
Oh, sorry. I'm just...
He laughed and put down one of the complicated cocktails from the bartender's vast collection.
It's real to meet a non-Japanese person here. Oh, I didn't mean... It's my first time here and I don't know you. Sorry again.
He was clearly tipsy, laughed a lot, and had entered the condition wherein a decent lady needs but a half a glass of champagne to become a chiffonier, highly sophisticated but still a piece of furniture. Nonetheless, I was glad to have company, especially a woman's company. My entire life couldn't revolve around two girls who didn't know what they want. I guess you're right. We're probably the only European to have visited this bar in its entire history. That counted the bartender, of course. I smiled, trying to look friendly.
How often come here?
She looked to be about 25. Perhaps older. Sometimes.
Do you like this place?
I'd been asking myself the same question a couple of minutes ago. It's more like I'm used to it.
Interesting.
She said vaguely, riveting her eyes on me.
You must be a student.
Yes, sort of. For some reason, I couldn't lie persuasively. Wow, I can't word. To her and started to avert my eyes. I couldn't say. I was just a high schooler.
Todai?
How did you guess? Todai? What the fuck is Todai? Let me look. What is Todai? Look. What is Todai? Oh, the University of Tokyo. Ah, the University of Tokyo. But if I ask Urban Dictionary, it's something else. It's the tightest, cleanest pussy known to man, free of all STDs and other nasty substances, just plain good and tasty and definitely shaved. I humped Jessica, her pussy is so damn to die. Okay. Now I know the slang to die and the school to die.
It just seems that you're kind of handsome and intelligent young man. Must study there.
She probably stretched her arm out to me.
Rien de pont. Paul's was Francais.
Ah, she's French. Wait, DuPont? He's poisoning the well. Poisoning everyone. Teflon and shit. Wait, wasn't that DuPont? I don't know. I don't work here. I was embarrassed, but responded with a handshake. Nikolai Anokin.
Oh, so your friend there, your sister.
And without letting me say a word, continued.
Moscow is a wonderful city. Up in there, the Kremlin, the Red Scare. Are you from Moscow? Maybe from Leningrad. Magnificent place. Fabulous museums. Are you from there?
You could say I'm from here.
Oh, that's interesting. I've just arrived there recently.
Strange, I could barely hear an accent.
I work as an attaché at the embassy. Everything is so...
Doreen spread her arms, clearly showing how exactly so everything was.
But unfortunately, I didn't really have much free time. Like the day we went out with the Japanese colleagues, but I just lost them already. What a goofball.
He broke into a loud laughter.
Can you imagine?
It happens. I was flattered by the attention of a girl like this. Or should I say a woman? Yeah, I guess she's 7 years older. For 18, she's 25. The beauty wasn't the same kind as the girls I knew. Maybe Ellie. But even she lacked Irene's mature charm.
Here I am now, sitting all alone. Oh, sorry. I meant to say it with you. Of course, with you.
He covered my hands with hers.
Thank you, Nikolai, for accompanying this poor silly mademoiselle.
I can't do French accents, but he said she didn't have much of an accent. She should get this weird one. I don't know, that doesn't make sense, but you have to live with it. Thanks to you too.
What enough about me? What about you? What do you study?
She straightened up and removed her hand. Well, I don't even know. What a dumb thing to say. We just have some general subjects for now. I haven't chosen my major yet. Maybe something in liberal arts.
Can you do that?
She asked with surprise. That's what I would really like to know myself. Of course, it's to die after all.
It's good to be young.
Irene said. I decided it was my opportunity. Come on now. If not for your suit, I'd think you were a student as well. She laughed. Do you make diplomats work on the weekends too?
On weekends, on holiday, and believe it or not, on July 14th.
July 14th? July 14th? What is July 14th? Even July 14th? That's going too far. So what is it? July 14th. In the Gregorian... Bastille Day. Oh, it's some weird French day. I don't care. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less about the French. If you're French and sitting out there, just know I'm joking. I love you if you watch my videos. Otherwise, I wouldn't care. I couldn't care less about you. I'm joking. Calm down. Sit down. Calm down.
Yeah, not like in the USSR at all. Workers' rights international. Let's sing, Nikolai.
Aline, I don't think that.
Come on, everything in the incos. How are you worse?
A drunk group in a corner was indeed truly belting out a love song. I still think we'd be misunderstood.
Do you care about what other people's opinions so much?
Don't you? You're a diplomat. For a second she froze, her eyes cleared up, and certain awareness and even coldness appeared in her gaze. But the next moment she burst out laughing again.
My god, I am so drunk. Nikolai, has anybody ever told you that you are handsome?
I'd be lying if I said no.
Then can I also say that?
I didn't know what to think. Half an hour ago I considered myself an adult, or at least was sure that I could behave like an adult in any situation. Now it turned out that it took only one drunk French girl in dilapidated board to shatter these assumptions. On the other hand, Irene looked very attractive, even too attractive. While talking, I managed to down a third of the bottle, and by then would set sights even on Sayatan.
Nikolai, you are looking at me so.
The whiskey washed away, and the last remnants of my timidness. Washed away the last remnants of my timidness. I think that's the way anyone would look at a beautiful woman like you, if they were in my place. Fuck off, fly. Fuck off. Fucking fly. 2 seconds. I just got a message. Sorry, I just had to answer there. I am back, motherfuckers.
Nikolai, you're saying this to a woman you just met.
But our acquaintance doesn't have to end here, does it? Irene plussed, now seemingly more than just alcohol, and leaning towards me, whispering in my ears.
Then let's get out of here.
My hands were shaking when I dropped a few large bills on the table.
Please, monsieur.
She stood up unsteadily and stumbled for the exit. I leaped to her immediately and offered a hand, which she grabbed right away and sagged against. When is your thumbnail pic, please?
Finally, fresh air.
When we emerged onto the street, she made a deep breath and pressed herself to me.
We should catch your car.
Fuck off, fly. Why bully me? I doubt someone would stop.
What you learn?
She laughed, walking closer to the roadway and waved her hands. I couldn't believe my eyes when a minute later a car stopped next to her. And what a car. An executive black sedan. Apparently, I wasn't the only one struck by her beauty.
Hop in.
Irene called to me merrily. That's the easy life. Imagine that. That's easy shit. Well, it seemed that the fairy godmother had lost her magic wand in a bit because Cinderella was going to come back from the ball with company. And what's more, in a carriage instead of a pumpkin. Yeah, oh, thank you. Thumbnail picture. At first I didn't even pay attention to the fact that the car's windows are blacked out.
Well, Nikolai, you are obviously not pretending,
Irene said calmly. What?
Let's go.
He nodded to the driver and looked at me with such antipathy that I started fidgeting in the seat. Irene, what's going on? Her drunk joyfulness vanished without a trace.
My name is Irina Mostovaya. Mostovaya. Major Irina Mostovaya. KGB USSR.
Wait, whoa, hey. She wasn't French. She wasn't a mademoiselle. And only then did I realize she was speaking Russian. You're fucking Russian.
I thought so. No French people looks like that. No French people have fucking yellow eyes. I guess that's a Russian.
I'm joking. With no hint of an accent. I mean, why would a Russian girl have an accent? No matter how long you learn a language, that is different from your mother's tongue. No matter how long you live in a foreign country, it will always be clear you weren't born and raised there. That's how it seemed to me, at least. Is this a joke? I still didn't fully realize what was happening.
That's what I'd like to ask you.
I'm glad I did a weird, like, half weird Russian accent thing. I don't know. Was it Russian? I don't know what I did. What does this have to do with me?
Do you really not recognize me?
He frowned. No, should I?
Never mind. From here on, you only answer my questions, and only with relevant and concise answers. Do you know what happened to your parents?
We got in a car accident. They died. I remember I was sitting in the back, so I survived. Is that not true?
I am the one asking questions here.
And if you want to hear the answers, I expect a dialogue. I said with unexpected determination. Reina bit her lip angrily.
Yes, they died in a car accident, but their death wasn't a coincidence. That's all you need to know for now. What do you know about their work?
Well, my parents were murdered because of the work.
Yes.
He gave a short response. Kobayashi Corporation. It wasn't a question.
What do you know?
I know nothing. You're interrogating the wrong person. I'm just a student and what's more, an orphan.
You must already have realized that Kobayashi Corporation wouldn't be interested in a mere student.
Oh wait! Oh wait! So they're actually after me. That's Kobayashi. Okay. But why me? Reina didn't respond. Taki was slowly moving by on the other side of the windows.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it wasn't just because she was a
woman. It was actually because he was fucking secret agent. I had no idea where we were going, and I didn't care. It was unlikely that they were going to kill me. That performance in the bar was probably just a test. To my surprise, I was able to think clearly and analyze the situation with a sober mind. That's what we'd like to find out. So all these calls to my house, were they made by the corporation?
No, they were from us. We wanted to warn you.
Wait, okay. So, the KGB was trying to warn me. Because of some Japanese corporation being after me? I'm just guessing here.
But you didn't feel compelled to heed our warnings.
What should I do, then?
Are you sure you don't know anything? Think again. Maybe your father told you something and you forgot about it. Maybe he left something to you. Papers, documents.
No. I really couldn't recall anything like that. We were a completely normal family.
So in your view, if a family of Soviet engineers have fled the USSR and started working for the biggest transnational company in Japan is normal.
Irina smirked. Apart from that, everything was normal.
Was it? Or do you simply not remember?
Even if I couldn't believe my parents had been involved in something they could be killed for. Even if what you say is true, I don't know anything about that. I've never known.
I find that hard to believe.
You can believe whatever you want. I started using the polite version of Russian you without thinking. But still, it was all clearly related to me somehow. To my family. Catherine's note. Having them believe as much was already enough.
Nikolai,
Adriana sighed.
have you completely forgotten about your application to your motherland?
I don't remember having any in the first place. Her eyes flashed, but she managed to stay calm and continued.
Do you think that you have it better here, in the country that killed your parents?
Why would I trust you anyway? Better? I don't know. But until recently, I've been living a peaceful life before you dragged me into this.
We didn't drag you into anything. On the contrary, we're trying to protect you.
What wonderful protection. What does it amount to exactly?
Arena
sighed.
I'm really... In order to receive something, you need to give something in return first.
But I don't have anything.
Stop mocking me.
He shouted suddenly.
You know everything. Just tell me that what the Japanese want, and we can bring you home. Do you think you've managed to fool me?
Why would you think they need something from me? If you were the ones who called.
At the moment, it's none of your business.
Then what do you expect from me? Irina calmed down in an instant and studied me with an unblinking stare for some time.
Fine, we'll handle it ourselves. You keep your head down. Stay away from all of this.
That's it? That simple?
Would you like it to be complicated?
I still have questions.
Which won't be answered, if you want to live. You're telling the truth? If you're telling the truth, then the less you know, the better. Only sources of information have value. Ordinary students are of no interest to anyone. but be prepared to remain under surveillance for a while.
By you?
Us, among others. What do you want do you want an accident to happen to you as well?
I felt a strong dislike towards this woman. I couldn't believe that just 5 minutes ago I'd been hoping for some quick sex with a random acquaintance. Although, in a way, I got what I wanted, except I was getting the I was the one getting fucked.
One more thing. Behave normally. Nobody should know we talk. Anything can expose you. Go to school. Hang out with your girlfriends. Drink if nothing else. The car stops.
The car stopped smoothly.
Move it right. Get out.
I couldn't make out the silhouette of my house behind the window. I hope Himitsu didn't see me brought home like this. I had the time to think.
Keep in mind, we do not repeat ourselves, so do yourself a favor and remember everything I've just told you.
Okay, I guess I have to remember. The luxurious black sedan with a blacked out windows disappeared around the corner almost silently. I stood at the entrance to my yard, mindlessly watching it go. That's when I started to shake, almost spasm in fear. How had I managed to remain outwardly calm and think straight? My legs carried me to the house on their own accord. I closed the door. And the garden door. And another one. And all the windows. I had so many windows. I wished I had a gun. I lay in bed, staring into the darkness with dry eyes. It was obvious that the chick kissed wouldn't come back. At least not today. What about the Japanese? If they kept me under surveillance, they could have seen me hop in that car. The only hope I had was that those KGB agents knew what they were doing. Catherine, what did you drag me into? Okay, I guess that's it for this time. The 14th of September, 1987.
So maybe that guy I saw in the back was spying. So I want to say thanks for watching this time.
It's been pretty nice. Remember to like, subscribe, watch my other videos on the channel. Leave a comment telling me what the fuck is going on. This is weird. I don't know. And I'll see you all next time.